Hey Mike, what's going on the local front here?
Well, you know, a couple of things. One, we've had a number of people come in to the museum who live here. They're local residents. They hadn't been in before, so they hadn't no idea what we were doing here and that we were really trying to do some science. People assume from the outside it's just a roadside attraction and nothing more. So a lot of these people now are in places where we've had Bigfoot sightings. And so when a person comes in and we get to talking and I find out that they're in a local Bigfoot area, of course, I ask them about having permission to come onto their property and do some investigating. Because in Santa Cruz County, unlike the places where most Bigfoot researchers go, the land here is all either privately owned or owned by the state. There's no BLM land, there's no big federal forests or wilderness areas where you can just go out, get yourself a simple fire permit and then do whatever you want. We can't do that in Santa Cruz. It's all privately owned. So almost everywhere you go, if you get off a road, you're trespassing. So that's why it's vitally important for us here in Santa Cruz for our project to get these locals to give us permission to come on their land. Well, in the course of this summer, we've been very strapped for cash and had little money to use to go out and do much road work and what have you. But we've had a surprising number of people come in who've told us that we can, set up a base camp and bivouac off their property in these very strategic areas. And so we're really excited about that, and we're going to, slow and steady, because like I say, without money we have to do everything slowly. But we're going to follow up on these now, and we're going to try and set up some habituation sites where we'll go as frequently as possible, and we'll leave offerings to the Bigfoot and try and communicate and get a habituation going. I've said before, I think it's likely that that's already happened somewhere in this area, and maybe someday we'll find out about it. But in the meantime, we're going to try and start one ourselves. And recently, one of the people who came in, who's in a situation just as I just described, they're up in Boulder Creek. Their property is near the San Lorenzo River, and they have chickens. And they reported that they had 17 chickens over the course of the last couple of months that have now dwindled down to, as of 3 or 4 days ago, 3 chickens. And they said that it was very bizarre the way the chickens were being taken. She said she knew that some of them, 1 or 2 of the chickens was taken by their own dog, and they're sure that there's other animals that have had occasion to take a chicken. There's coyotes around here and bobcats and mountain lions. Plenty of animals that may have taken her chickens. But the circumstances and the situation were such that she was led to believe that something different was going on than just the normal animals, because she has a little coop that has a programmable gate that is set with a timer to open and close at a certain time of the day to let the chickens come out in the morning to feed. And she was in here kind of frantic a couple of days ago, just a few days after she had initially come in and told us about this. And she said that something prior to 7 in the morning had gone up to the chicken coop and had deliberately pressed the button twice, which released the setting, and was able to then open the door, pull the chicken out, and close it again, which is what they did. And she thought that was awfully peculiar, and not too many animals would be doing something like that. And so she came in, and we gave her a game camera, and we asked her if she would please set it up. We showed her how to operate it, and she said she would set it up and see if she could find out who or what are taking her chickens. And then in the course of the conversation, I mentioned how years ago we had a guy named Mike who had a chicken taken out of his yard in Ben Lomond. And then a man had moved into the Ben Lomond area to another location where some chickens were being taken out of his backyard. And then through a series of events, we found out that the kid that lived next door to him had actually seen a 7-foot-tall Bigfoot right next to his chicken coop. And this man was interviewed by Dave Paulides, and his story is in the book Tribal Bigfoot in the Santa Cruz chapter. So here's a location in Ben Lomond where chickens were taken repeatedly and where the man actually saw a Bigfoot near the chicken coop. Well, these other folks told me they have a friend that lives on the same street in Ben Lomond, and that she's also had about 20 chickens taken. So I want you to know we're going to start calling the local Bigfoot in Ben Lomond the Colonel because he's got so many chickens.